Hi everybody, Jonathon, Marc, Mendes, Painted Love, and today I'm going to do a brief tutorial on how to create a rainbow with paint. It can be chalk paint, it can be acrylic paint, it can be kids poster paint. I'm just going to be using chalk paint. Now this is a technique, hi everybody, this is a technique that I do use in my academy. There is a short tutorial on the one brush blend challenge, but I'm going to change it up a little bit because obviously at the minute in the pandemic that we're in, the symbol of a rainbow is of, hi Andrea, is a symbol of peace and hope and prosperity for the future. So I wanted to bring you how to, and especially this, once this live is finished, feel free to share it. It might be useful for parents with children if they want to create a really lovely rainbow. So, but we're going to work with chalk paint. This would apply to furniture. Hi everybody. There's a lot of you coming on. It's lovely to see you all from all over the world. Give me a shout out from wherever you are. It's really lovely to see you. I won't be reading your comments during because I've got two cameras and I won't be able to see you. But I will try and answer any questions after this live has finished. But it's lovely to see you. Give it a shout out from wherever you are. I can see a couple of people. South Africa, amazing. Anyway, I won't be reading anymore. Back to the rainbow. So I'm going to talk you through the things that we'll need, and then I'm going to take you through the process slowly. So without further ado, I'm going to move you to a different camera above shot so you get the bestest view. So I'm just going to flip cameras right now. Okay guys, I hope you can see me and I'm still the right way up. So the things that you're going to need for this tutorial, I'm working on a piece of MDF board which I've already prepped. You will need to put a coat of paint on furniture first. It's like your canvas coat. That is always best to do. Paper, if you're working on, maybe on paper, even if it's cartridge paper, you might get away without doing that if you're working with children. But if it's paper, if it's furniture or wood, canvas coat. And what you're seeing here is a lot of different coloured blues. I've only done that because we're doing a rainbow and I felt like it should be more sky-like. And this is one of my other tutorials in the academy. It's called Smoky Blend. It's another sort of different style of painting. But I thought it'd be really nice for you to see with the rainbow on top of a sky-like background. But if I was going to do a rainbow, I would probably do it on a pale background, most definitely. Do it on a white or a grey, a soft grey, any neutral will work perfectly. So some of the other materials that you need, you'll see over here, I've got some pots of paint. I've gone with a typical style sort of rainbow. I've gone red, orange, yellow, green, blue, violet. And it's going to be quite a chunky rainbow, so I can get all of those colours in so you can see. And it's not going to be a full arch. If you want to try and do that yourself, you can. I'm just going to do a big rainbow over the top, kind of coming through the picture, if that makes sense. So I've got my paint colours. I've also got here my atomizer. This is a water spray. It's just, this one works kind of a fine mist. And I've also got a brush. This brush is a chalk painting brush. All of you furniture lovers will know exactly what that is. It's got a high bristle count. Now, if you want to use a different style of brush, let me grab one. This would be quite a good brush to use here. So this is a normal sort of chip brush, but they've got natural bristles. It's a bit wet because I've just washed it, but it's got natural bristles like this, and it's got quite a lot of bristle. The more bristle you get in the brush, the better this effect will be. So a bushy brush, if you've got one, these are ideal for the whole. And this is a medium brush. It's not the large and it's not the small, so it's kind of medium. So they're two of the things that you might need. Also, I've got to hand just some cloth to offload some of my paint colours as I change colours. And that is it. So, without further ado, let's get painting. They're the materials that you need. Also, you need to start with a damp brush. So what I'm going to do, and you won't see it so much, I've got my spray and I'm spraying away from, if it's furniture especially, I'm spraying away. I'm spraying my brush. It's off camera, I know it is. But I'm spraying my brush just to get it a little bit moist. It's not really dripping wet, just moist. And I'm not spraying it on this surface because water will damage my chalk paint finish. So I'm not putting it anywhere near. So I'm always taking it away from the place where I'm painting. So I've now got a damp brush, maybe a little bit more. And what I'm gonna do is, I'm gonna pick up my first colour, which is the red. And I'm just tapping it in on the edge of the bowl as well. I'm gonna do it here so you can see it. So I'm just picking up a little bit of red, if you can see that, and tapping it in on the edge of the bowl, tap, tap, tap. And I'm only putting it on the end of the brush. Can you see? I'm not covering all of the bristles, just the end. And we're gonna go across. I can see loads of you there. Thank you for tuning in. It's lovely to see you all. I will answer your comments after I finish this live. So, right, let's go. I'm gonna kind of go, I think I'm gonna do my rainbow, a slight arc, but I'm gonna start here with the red and go across there. So I'm gonna mark that out. The first, I suppose, to get it right, the first one's quite crucial. Yeah, and I can tell with my paint, it's dragging a little bit against the other paint and it's not really sticking. So I need a little bit more water, not much, a little bit more water and a little bit more paint. But I'm happy where I've marked that out, tapping it on the edge of the bowl. And all I'm going to do is keep on going backwards and forwards. So now I can incorporate a little tiny bit more water. And the trick is to kind of go backwards and forwards with the brush across the same area over and over and over again. Still a little bit dry. Like so. Right, that's what we've got. So I'm quite happy with that as a first pass. A little bit more water just to blend the top in to the background. So it doesn't take a lot of paint, although I've got lots of paint in my bowl, it doesn't take a lot of paint to do this. I'm just going to pick up a little bit more. So I've got a deep colour red in the middle. So once you've got the red on, like that, lovely. So you can see I've got the basis of my red on and it's quite chunky. That's why you need a lot of space to do this. And you might not get a full rainbow in, or you need to work with a smaller brush. If you're working with poster paint, smaller brush. Remember, keep the bristles, don't cover the whole brush with paint, keep the paint to the top. Right, what I'm now gonna do, and this is why I call it the one brush blend, I'm not gonna change my brush. You could, if you want to make it easy on yourself and you've got plenty of brushes, do that. But this is a challenge I give to all my students, and I can see some of you come up there. Yeah, I can see you. Hi, Daniel. What I'm going to do is I'm going to keep the same brush, and it is a challenge because it's really hard to blend, but the brush is going to do the blending in the bristles. So on to the next colour. I'm just going to take my cloth. I'm going to take my cloth and just because it was quite moist, I'm just going to offload a little bit, but not a lot. I'm going to leave some of that paint in there. And then I'm going to pick up my next, I'm going to spray again. Sorry, spray again. It's kind of a repetitive thing each time. Then I'm going to pick up my my orange colour in my bowl, offload, so it's not too much, tapping it in. So the two colours are mixing within this brush now. They're kind of sat there, can you see? There we go. Right, the trick is with this, I'm not going to touch the line of red, and you've got to work while it's wet. You cannot let this dry. So I better, enough talking, yeah. Right, so can you see, I'm not going to touch the red, I'm going to go underneath, just underneath, and leaving a little bit. There we go. So there's a little tiny gap, almost like a centimetre or an inch between the two. And then I can add some more water to my brush, only a little bit. And then I'm going to go back and forth over the same area. Needs a little bit more paint. I can fit with chalk paint, it dries quick. It's not like acrylic or anything else that you use. Kids poster paint will be a little bit less, I know that. Right, so there we go, we're winning against each other. And a little bit of water. It is a touchy-feely thing. You're going to spend your time, lots of practice creating lovely, lovely rainbows. One more time. So it's the water and the paint that you've previously put. I can push a little bit harder with my brush now because I can see it blending. So you see the two colours, they're now blending beautifully well, like so. So those two colours now are blended really, really well. I can increase a little bit more orange. If I want to brighten the orange up, I can just put a little bit of orange underneath here just to brighten that up. But I'm going to go on to the next colour now. That worked really beautiful for me. So again, we're going to now pick up the water spray. Obviously it's off camera because it's out the way. And I've just spritzed the end again. I'm going to pick up the next colour, which is a yellow. A lovely, it's kind of a daffodil yellow. It's a nice bright yellow. And can you see, I'm just tapping on the edge. If you've got a colour palette, you could tap on the edge of there. Just picking up a little bit of the yellow. And the colour should mix. Let me show you the brush. So you can almost see the other colours there. The red starts, then the orange, and now the yellow. So we're going to do the same thing again. We're going to move an inch down below the last colour that we've just used. And we're going to start marking it out there. And then we're going to blend back into the orange, if that makes sense. So we're going to pop it there and we're going to blend back up. And then we can blend back down. So here goes. Just a little gap between, I need some more paint. That's it, a little gap. A little bit more. And you can do this with any colours. Any colours of your choice. That lightens it up lovely. Right, I'm happy with that. What I'm going to do now is just spritz my brush a little bit and I can come back in and I'm going to blend that yellow into the orange by just passing over and over the other colour. It will help blend those two colours together, like so. And I'm not going to go back into the other colour. I'm not going to reach into the red colour. I'm going to keep on going backwards and forwards like this. There we go. So I'm not going to keep on going up there, otherwise the colours will change. Once you've gone past that colour, you can't go back. So you have to get it perfectly seamlessly. Oh, it's lovely to see you all. Right, the next one. I will, if there's any questions, I will answer when I get settled this evening. Right, so now, I'm going to pop a little bit more yellow. I think we'll go with a bit more yellow because there's not enough true yellow there. So we'll add a little bit more. I think the yellow really does need to stand out a little bit more. So as you can see, my rainbow's not a full rainbow, it's kind of passing through the picture. Right, I'm going to blend back into the other colours that I've mixed. Slowly, slowly does it. And it blends back into that lovely orange. Beautiful. So, in the UK, my husband, he works for the NHS, so I'm making this rainbow for him. He's currently at work today. And he said to me the other day, why don't we have a rainbow in our window? So I decided to do it, but I'm going to do it with you guys as well, sharing it with you guys. So I will probably, after this is finished, I might even put NHS on it, because in the UK, it's NHS and all of the key workers. He's one of the key workers. He's not a nurse, he works within the hospital, so he's a key worker. So thank you to all of those key workers out there doing such an amazing job. It's not easy, I know. Right, we're going to go green. So we're going to go for green. This is a very bluey green anyway, but it's what I had to hand. I'm going to do the same again. We're going to drop underneath, same brush. I'm going to tap a little bit of green into the brush. Just on the end. Again, you can see all the other colours mixing on the brush. Pop that back down. And I'm going to drop just below again, here. Oh gosh, this colour's gorgeous. It's a truly beautiful colour. So remember, you've got to move on fairly quick. And I know that I talk a lot. You guys that follow me all know that I talk a lot. But you've got to move on pretty quick, because if the other colour dries, they don't blend together. That's why we're using a little bit of water. Oh, that's beautiful. Right, so I've got that placed on. I know it's good. If you notice, there was still a little thin gap in between. Now I'm going to blend back up into the yellow. Very lightly. It's a light touch, and then you can be a little bit more heavy with the touch. So backwards and forwards. A little bit more pigment in there, a little bit of paint, a little bit more water. This is how I've learned a lot of the times how to mix lots of different paint colours, because they all blend together and make many other colours. That's what rainbows do. Oh, that's lovely. Right, I'm going to remove a little bit of paint. Because the green's stronger than the yellow, I'm just going to remove a little bit because it's kind of not blending very nice there. So I'm going to remove that sit. So if you offload a little bit of paint off your brush, if you think it's going to not blend very well, that's the way to do it. Like that, backwards and forward. Almost in the same place, back and forward, back and forward. Don't take it up. Like I said, stay where you are. Here we go. Beautiful. That has blended seamlessly. Gorgeous. Right, now I'm going to add a little bit more. I've got a little hair there. Sorry, guys. Take that out. Stray a rogue hair from the paintbrush. Soften it in. Anything's fixable with paint. We can play as much as you like. That's it. Can we see our rainbow's really beginning to grow and get more beautiful? So on to the next colour. We're going to go with, we'll add a little bit more of this little bit of green, I think, just to make sure there's plenty of the true colour here. So I'm adding a little bit more solid paint almost, just here. A little bit more, tapping it in. Yeah, that's good. Back and forwards, back and forwards. The bristles in the brush are doing the hard work. I'm not really. So you start off with a light touch, and then when you see it blending, you can be a little bit harder with your bristle action. You can go harder, and it should blend nice and well together. But don't put pressure on yourself. You're never going to get this all in one go. Took me a long time to learn how to blend these colours the way that I am. Right, I'm going to offload again. I've got my little rag. I'm going to take some of that off. But what's happening, the reason it's blending so beautifully is the colour that's in here retains in the brush before I move on to the next colour. So now I'm going to go with this gorgeous blue. I must spray it again, a little bit of a spritz. Gorgeous blue. And again, I'm not touching the green, I'm kind of just fringing the edge of the green. Bit more paint. Yeah, a bit more water, a bit more paint. Chalk paint is very thick, so it's slightly different to poster paint. You may not need as much water. So just play with, do a small, if you're working with children, do something smaller and then grow to something bigger. Maybe if you've got an old roll of wallpaper, see, look what I've done. I've dribbled some water on there, which is not good for chalk paint. I'm not paying attention. There we go. Right, so yeah, if you've got poster paints, they're very different. They've kind of got plenty of water in them, so you might not need the spritzer. Just have a little play. Right, that's plenty of paint on that colour. Bit more water, and then we'll blend the two together. These two colours should blend really lovely. And they do. And I'm not really going too far into the green. I don't want to lose it all with the blue, but just a little bit in the middle, like so. Yeah, that's really, really lovely. And I'm going to take a little bit of that colour off. and then pick up some more solid colour and more water. And then we'll move on to the final colour, which is violet, which I think will be lovely. At the end of the rainbow, there's violet. Right, last colour, a little bit of water, a little bit of violet. Again, I'm dropping away from that colour, a little bit of a gap. And thank you so much for staying with me all the way through this tutorial. It's really lovely to have you all be there with me. And I know there's so many of you all over the world that have supported me through the last few years. And I'm really, really grateful. And I thought I'd bring you a little simple rainbow, especially if you've got children and you're going to have the afternoon with the paint stuff in the garden, which would be really nice to create a family rainbow or a sign for the key workers who are doing amazing stuff. I'm just taking, again, one last time, I'm taking a little bit of paint off. I'm going to do a bit more true violet at the bottom and then blend it away. Blended away into my sky, the lights out. I'm going to kind of finish up here now because I think my neighbour is going to start building a fence or a shed or something. Oh, yeah, there we go. Can't help the sound pollution. They've got beautiful kids in the garden as well, so maybe they'll watch. I know they follow me, so maybe they'll watch this and do one themselves, and we'll have matching rainbows in our windows. Last little bit, I'm going to just kind of spritz that, blend it away with a big brush. I'm happy. There we go, one very colourful rainbow. I hope you enjoyed the tutorial, and thank you, like I said, once again, for all of you guys that have stayed with me. In fact, I'll just flip the camera so I can say goodbye properly. Okay, thank you so much for tuning in and staying with me throughout the whole thing. I hope that you can create the most gorgeous rainbow for your key workers. I'm going to hold it up for you. It will look a lot different once it's dried. So there's my NHS and key worker rainbow. Thank you so much to all for what you do. We really appreciate it. Now Mr. M will have his very own rainbow. But for now, thank you all for tuning in. I will definitely read through some of your comments. I can see there's been so many of you there. Thank you for the support. I will catch you all soon. Take care, everyone. Lots of love.